What's up, mob? Hey, how we doing? The race this weekend? Mud, man. I don't like mud. It was a boring race. I know a lot of you guys really like mud. I don't share that same opinion, but it did do some interesting things to the points. And I'm going to talk about the 250 class and how it almost killed Joe Shimoda's season. For him to win this championship now, yeah, he's behind the eight ball. How the veterans have really stepped up. And then I want to talk about some of these young guys. There's a strong contingent of young riders behind these guys that are really talented, and I expect big things from. But let's get into this.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
All right, so I got to talk about Joe Shimoda, because Joe was clearly the favorite coming in after his performances in Supermoto, outdoors, and how good he looked towards the end of last year. Joe Shimoda was the clear-cut favorite. Yes, RJ and Jordan Smith, we know they have the potential, but they haven't shown the consistency, or they look like guys that can win races, but you don't really expect them there for the championship. But that might be history because they're there now. But Joe Shimoda, think about this, guys. After 2 rounds, he's down. Michael Mosman, who's coming into the series this week in San Diego, is closer to Joe than Joe is to either of the top 3, Kitchen, RJ, or Smith. So it's going to take a lot. But there are a lot of guys that can get in between there, and I'll talk about those guys in a second. But Honda's got to be kind of frustrated with Joe, and I understand it wasn't his fault that the bike broke, but it kind of was because he had already went down and had a bad start, and he's behind. Depends on what happened to the bike in particular. But he didn't exactly get a ton of points at the first round, so we'll see. He's going to have to, honestly, anything, if he loses any more points to Smith, Kitchen, or RJ, if it was just one guy or even 2 guys, I would say, yeah, he's probably still got a really good chance to win this thing. But with 3 guys, now you got to have 3 guys have a bad round or a DNF. Well, there are 2 East-West shootouts, so it's not over, but it's not looking good for Joe Shimoda. Hey guys, if you need supplements, head over to the Coach Rob store. He's got everything from immune system to concussion recovery, so check those out. If you want your garage to look badass, hit up Epic Garage Designs. They have the coolest stuff, period. So epicgaragedesigns.com. I want to talk about the other guys. Garrett Marchbanks. Garrett Marchbanks lost a ton of weight. It's his choice to ride the 250. I've told him he should be on the 450. The team was okay with him riding a 450. But Garrett has unfinished business, and he wants it. And that showed in the mud. He's always been a good mud rider. The first podium he ever got was San Diego, the Limegate race. He did really good there. He got his first podium. And the way he caught Phil Nicoletti, I did make the joke, gosh, everyone, how can you not want Phil? His lifelong goal is to be on the podium. He has it until the last lap. And his teammate, who's had multiple podiums, takes it from him. It was just heartbreaking for Phil. I told Marchbanks, do you beat up little kids and take their candy? Do you punch Santa Claus? What are your other hobbies, dude? We were just joking, but he deserved that podium, and I'm sure Phil wouldn't want it given to him. His goal is to earn one, and didn't quite earn it, so guess what? No podium, Phil. But Phil is definitely a guy that the longer he races, the better off. I hope they find a place for him in the sport because the sport's better with Phil in it. Some of these guys that you might not be paying too much attention to, but you should. Carson Mumford. Mumford on that MCR Honda. Mumford was part of the Geico Honda up team when he was coming up and kind of had the rug pulled out from under him, but he's still got the talent. He's absolutely a guy that can get up there. He was super sick at Anaheim 1. I'm excited to see how he'll do, and he got a 5th this weekend, and I'm excited to see how he does in another dry condition. So watch Mumford. He's a guy that with a little bit of confidence, and confidence is a scary thing, especially for these young guys, with a little bit of confidence, he could be right in the mix. Now you got this guy on the Suzuki that nobody knows, this French guy, this Anthony Bordone. This kid's awesome. I saw him at Anaheim, and he was riding like an absolute savage. He did good in the mud. He was up there in a podium, crashed, but he's good, man. This is the best I've seen a Suzuki 250 since Justin Hill was riding one back in the day. He looks really good, and the guys at Bar X have to be happy with him. So look for some good finishes for Anthony Bordone. this guy's talented, and he could get up there in the mix, and he believes he should, and it's clear how he rides. He believes he should be in the front. Then you got the rookie sensation, Julian Boehmer. The mud wasn't a fair test. Let's see how he does back in San Diego. I look for him to be around 5th place, but he's got incredible amounts of talent and could easily wind up on that podium, and he will get a podium before the season's over. Did you guys see Hunter Yoder smash that triple in practice, or timed qualifying practice, whatever you want to call it, in San Francisco? This kid is so tough, and he's also another one of those guys that was in that Geico Honda amateur system and had the rug pulled out from him. He's incredibly talented, but he's kind of had a rough go as a pro, and it's tough when you have a clear path to become a top guy and it's yanked out, and now you're bouncing from privateer team to privateer team. But watch Hunter Yoder. This kid has some grit to him. I really like it. Max Voland. Max looked like I really thought he was going to get his first podium or even a win in San Francisco, but he torched the clutch. It happens. He will get a podium this year. Mark my words. He will get a podium. Will he get a win? I don't know, but Max is another incredibly talented guy. You get any of these guys that have all these bags of talent, Mumford, Voland, Yoder, any of these guys, you give them a little bit of confidence, it's a scary thing. So watch and see if Voland can get some confidence. Speaking of confidence, Ryder D has some confidence. He won that heat race, and he was looking good to be a podium guy or even win the main event in San Francisco. But bike issues, it happens. Mud races, it is what it is. But I'm telling you, Ryder D reminds me of Dungey. He gets better. He rides within himself. He's going to, he's very talented, and he is on a team that really supports him. So I look for good things for Ryder D. And with all these good guys is why that's one of the other reasons that Joe Shimoda should be happy. Because if he wins, a lot of these good young kids, if they get some confidence, will get in the mix and take points away from Smith, Kitchen, and Hampshire. So that's what Joe's got to hope for. Josh Verrees. Josh Verrees is talented. He had some really good outdoor rides. He was kind of like a fill-in guy for Rockstar Husky, and he had a really good, quietly good finish at Anaheim 1. He did okay in the mud, but this kid's talented. I remember watching him at Straight Rhythm. This guy can ride. So now that he's got a home and he feels comfortable on that bike, watch for Josh Verrees to steadily climb up there and have I expect an Enzo Lopes type of a climb, just gradually better and better. But he might be a guy towards the end of this year that people might be talking about for a star ride or a pro circuit ride or something like that. So watch Josh Verrees. Remember, guys, if you want some goggles, hit up Ride Strapped. They got the Let's Go Brandons. They got the cool shirts. Hit up ridestrap.com. And if you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. Precision Transport is such a good company. They believe in motocross, and they have customer service and reasonable pricing. And now I've been reluctant to talk about this because is there anybody who bashes on Ricky Carmichael more than me? But I don't understand how a guy can continually get worse at his job. His analogies were ridiculous. When he tried to make a comparison to a car in the ruts, I don't know what he was talking about, to be honest with you. I don't have a clue. And, and he's sucking on a lozenge, which drives me bananas. And then he's constantly saying, I feel, I think, in my opinion. Guess what, Ricky? We know it's your opinion. You're the one saying it. You don't have to emphasize it with 17 fake words that don't matter and qualify and question whether, he's so worried about what these teams, and maybe people will find out that he's not actually smart. Guess what, Ricky? Cat's out of the bag. We know you're not smart. Greatest rider in the history of the sport, worst announcer in the history of the sport, period. I cannot believe they keep trotting him out there. It's embarrassing to the sport. It's embarrassing to Ricky. Somebody needs to pull the plug on this. And he's talking about wheelbarrows and leverage. I don't even know what he was talking about, to be honest with you. But anyway, put Jason Thomas in there. Call Daniel Blair back. Get somebody. Grant Langston. There's so many guys that can do this job. And I'm not saying I could. It's a hard job. That's why I'm not up there. I would be saying probably dumber things than Ricky. But I'm not the announcer. And we've got lots of qualified people who can do it. Unfortunately, Ricky is not one of them. All right, guys, if you need a real estate agent, I'm your guy. Hit me up. Anywhere in the country, I can get you the house that you want, or I can get your house sold for what you want. So hit me up. I've got a lot of platforms to help whatever agent in your area takes your listing, and we will give you the service that you deserve. So thanks, guys. Remember, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.